All right, Mr. Gregory, you
Good
are
morning,
muted.
everybody. Hi, Mr. Jeff. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you very much, Ocha,
Wonderful.
for the show.
It is so good to see you all today. As you will notice, my laryngitis is still here, but it's getting better. But it might be the perfect thing for the story we're telling today. Our story is about someone who loses their voice. Can you imagine? This is a story that my good friend Emma recommended that we tell today. This is a story about a little fish lady, a little mermaid. So to tell this story, I don't know what I need. I was looking at all my figures and things. I've got like my Ursula figure and my Batman as a mermaid figure. That would be one. We could use my Aquaman figure, or maybe we can just go to the Fable Forest and see if the forest itself can help us tell the beautiful, magical, and somewhat tragic story of mermaids with Cher and Winona Ryder. No, I'm just kidding. We are telling today the story of The Little Mermaid. Now, we all probably have seen the Disney movie, right? If you've seen the Disney movie of The Little Mermaid, raise two hands. Make a weird face if you've seen it. It's a pretty good movie. It's one of my favorite movies, actually. Really beautiful music. But did you know that the original story of The Little Mermaid is something of a tragedy? And we've talked about this a little bit, those of you that have taken theater. Some stories are happy, cheerful stories. Let me see happy faces. Happy faces. Some stories are tragedies. We can make a sad face when it's a tragic story. Tragedies can be very sad stories. The Little Mermaid, as originally written, is a little bit of both. Now, this story was written by a wonderful gentleman by the name of Hans Christian Andersen. And he wrote The Ugly Duckling, which is a story we should know. He wrote The Princess and the Pea, which is a story we've already told. And he wrote The Snow Queen, which is another story that we've told in Forest Fables. And this is one of his most famous stories of all. The Little Mermaid, Le Petite Sirène. This story begins not on the surface of the ocean at all, but under the surface. I'll pretend that I can breathe underwater, although I cannot. Under the surface of the water is where our story begins. I'm checking my internet connection. Hey, it's still there. Cool. If you swim deep, show me how you can swim deep under the ocean. Swim deep, 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 all the way down to the very depths of the ocean floor. I always thought it would be really fun to swim under the ocean, but humans were very fragile. We can't swim all the way down. If you swim deep enough, you will see some ruins behind you. And the ruins are saying, do not come in here, not safe for humans. But if you swim past that, you'll see more ruins guarded by sharks. That's really giving you a message. Do not come in here. And if you can swim past the sharks, you will find yourself in the city of Atlantia. And Atlantia is a city of mer people. And in Atlantia, all types of mer people live. There are mermaids, there are mermen, there are mer children living presumably and harmoniously with all of the lovely fish that you see. And if you arrive on the right day of the week, of the year, of the century, who knows, you can arrive for a mermaid birthday party. You heard me correctly. A mermaid birthday party. What? They call it a mirthday party. And when they have a mirthday party, it's a big deal. They throw a big parade and everyone puts on their sparkliest fins and they all get all dressed up in jellyfish clothes and they march down the street in the middle of Atlantia and everyone gets to be really proud of the mer person that they are. And it's very colorful and it's very beautiful. And they are celebrating, in essence, the birthday of the Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid's birthday is today. I believe she's turning 16. Oh, and as you can see behind me, King Neptune and his mermaid daughters are getting ready to celebrate her birthday party. Now, King Neptune is a very serious undersea ruler, right? He's got a long fishy beard, and he sits on a big seashell throne, and he is so proud because he's king of all the ocean. But the thing that makes him proudest of all is his daughters. He has all these mermaid daughters, and they are all so charming and beautiful and funny and sweet and kind, and they can sing. I mean, every one of them can sing. It is a talent that all mermaids possess. And I mean, it's just a wonderful thing to have a birthday party, but the birthday girl isn't here. She's late. The Little Mermaid, oh, there she is. She has a tendency to be late for things. Oh, and she's late for her own birthday party. But she arrives just in time for the arrival of the Dowager Mermaid. Now, this is a character who's not in the Disney movie, and I wish she was. The Dowager Mermaid comes and she gives gifts to the mermaids when they have their birthday. And she's like, well, I can see the Little Mermaid is ready to make her appearance on the surface of the ocean, where she can look around at the human world for one day. One day only, and then she will swim back down to be with her family for the rest of her life, right? That's the way it works on mermaid birthdays. And the Dowager gives the Little Mermaid a beautiful necklace. The heart of the ocean, let's say. And the Little Mermaid's like, I can't believe I get to swim up to the surface and see the surface world. So she bids goodbye to her sisters and her father and the Dowager Mermaid, and up she swims until she can almost see the sunlight. Can you swim up with me? Let me see you swimming up. You gotta kick your legs and up you go until you get ready to splash out of the water. You gotta do that hair flip with me, right? Who's doing a hair flip? One more hair flip. Epic hair flips, everybody. So now we're swimming on the surface of the water with the Little Mermaid. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? And she sees some dolphins, and she gets to swim with the dolphins. How heavenly. And the dolphins are like, ee. Can I see a dolphin? Ee. They have that funny little laugh. Oh my goodness. And she swims over to the land. She perches on a rock, and she sees the village where the humans live. And she's like, oh, I really want to see a human. She's never seen one before. But she doesn't see one that day or that moment, because she hears a whoosh, and she sees a big colorful explosion happening in the water. And she's like, ooh, I'm gonna go check that out. So she swims the other direction, deep into the water, where she sees a party boat. A party boat! They're having a birthday party on a party boat in the middle of the ocean. This is the most beautiful thing the mermaid has ever witnessed in her whole life. And she's thinking, I wonder whose birthday it is. It's my birthday. It's someone else's birthday. We're birthday twins. Cool. So she swims, and night's falling already. It's getting dark fast, she thinks. She swims up to the boat, and on the boat, she sees the birthday boy, who is, of course, a handsome young prince. And she's like, we're birthday twins. Cool. He doesn't see her. She sees him. He doesn't see her. He doesn't even know she's there. And she's eavesdropping, right? She's watching. And they give him a present on the boat. You know what the present is? It's not gum. It's not socks. It is a statue of himself. That should have been a red flag. Anyway, he gets a statue of himself. And before anything else can happen, a storm hits, right? And the ocean is crashing in, and the waves are crashing, and there's rain and thunder and lightning, and oh my goodness, the humans are scared because they might not be able to swim, right? And then the prince falls into the water, and the mermaid watches him, and she's like, is this how they celebrate birthdays in the human world? I don't know. And then she realizes, oh, he can't swim. Oh my goodness. And he's sinking into the deep water. So she's like, I have to help him. She swims up and she grabs the prince, and she's very strong, right? Can you grab the prince with me? And you've got to drag him through the water to safety, right? And she's got to pull him. Oh, don't worry, Mr. Prince, I'll help you. don't worry, birthday boy. And she slings him on a rock. Safe. Oh my goodness. And she's looking at this prince and she's thinking, these humans are fragile. They're fragile. They're like little pieces of paper, maybe. They could just rip apart so easily. How interesting. And she's really enchanted by the human nature. And that's a distinction that's important in the story. In the Disney movie, she falls in love with the prince, yada, yada, very sweet. In the book, she's much more interested in understanding humans, right? And so she thinks, oh, he's alive, he's okay. And she gives him the gift of her necklace. She puts it around his neck and she says, okay, that's to protect you, my new friend. And then she swims away before he wakes up and she watches from a distance as 3 girls come over the hill and down the beach. They're 3 girls from the convent school over the hill, right? And they see the prince and they're like, oh no, it's a young man. And one of the girls runs over to help him. And the prince falls in love with the girl who helps him. And the mermaid sees that happen. And you know what? She's okay with that. She's like, good. He's with the humans. He's where he belongs and he's safe. And now it's time for me to go back under the sea to where I come from, right? And she swims back down thinking about her exciting adventure. And then she discovers that something has sunk to the bottom of the ocean floor. The prince's statue, it's heavy, right? It's made of marble or something. It sank all the way to the bottom of the ocean floor. And it gives her an opportunity to really study humans. She looks at the statue and she's like, wow, they have legs. They're so interesting, these little fragile things. And with some help, I'm sure, I don't think she carried it herself, she takes the statue back to what is basically her blanket fort. She has a little grotto that she stays in. And in the grotto, she continues to think about humans and she's real confused about humans, right? And then she thinks, I can go ask someone who knows more than me. She heads to the big undersea tower to see the Dowager Mermaid. And she's got questions for the Dowager, right? She's like, Dowager, what's the deal with humans anyway? And she's like, well, you've come back from your visit to the surface world. Humans are not like mermaids, my dear. No, humans live very short lives. Mermaids apparently live for 300 years, we're told in the book. That's a long time. Humans do not live so long, she says. But because their lives are so short, they have very full lives in that time. And the mermaid is just like, wow. Her mind is full of dreams about the human world, right? She wants to go back there and she wants to study humans. And it's distracting to her. And finally she goes, okay, I have to understand what this whole thing is about human nature. So she follows that desire all the way to share. No, I'm kidding. She follows that desire all the way to the sea witch's lair. Now, we all know the sea witch, I suppose. You have to swim through the darkest parts of the ocean into the sea witch's lair. And the sea witch, you know, we know the movie where it's Ursula. I happen to love Ursula the Sea Witch. She's like an octopus lady. I even have my octopus Ursula Lego, and she's like, I admit that in the past I've been a nasty, right? And she's got the eel henchmen, and she calls them my poor little poopsies. I always thought that was pretty funny. But no, in the original story, Ursula doesn't exist. There's a very wise sea witch who's not trying to trick anybody. And she's kind of like, all right, sweetheart, how can I help you? What is it you need, my dear? And the mermaid's like, I am trying to get back up to the human world, all right? I've got some exploring to do, some adventuring. And the witch is like, don't do it, honey. Oh, you'll be sorry. Please don't do it. You'll be so sorry. This mermaid, this witch is leveling with her. She's laying it out for her. Most witches are trying to trick people. Not this witch. I like the witch in the book. She's telling her like it is. She's like, ow, you're gonna go up to the human world and everything's gonna go wrong. Those humans are not to be trusted, and I just don't think you should give up your family and your friends, sweetheart. And the mermaid's like, look, I've already made up my mind. I wanna go up there. Can you help me? And of course the sea witch is like, fine, I'll help you. Let me see what I can do. You gotta pay me first, of course. All I want from you. And the mermaid's like, no, I don't have anything. I gave away my necklace already. And she's like, no, I don't want your necklace. What I want from you is your voice. Your voice, because obviously, because, you know, she doesn't have a beautiful singing voice. She wants to have a beautiful singing voice. And the mermaid is like, great. So she trades her beautiful voice to the sea witch in exchange for legs. And so the sea witch gives her a potion. And she's like, put the potion, got the voice, right, on your fins at dawn. And when the sun touches your fins, you'll get legs and have a great life, sweetheart. Don't do it, it's a bad idea. So the little mermaid doesn't listen. She swims up to the top. She's looking at the sunlight. She puts the lotion on her fins. And we're gonna get real, like, this is how it worked out, okay? You know, you've got your Batman, Merman, right? And you put the lotion on the fins, and then it's like, pop, you just take off the fins, and I'll use my Batgirl. Put the thing here, and then he has legs. Dun, da, 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 traded your fins for legs. And she is so excited to have legs. She's got knees. She never had knees before. She's got a pinky toe and all the other toes. It's fascinating to her to have this for the first time ever. Can you imagine having feet for the first time ever? What you can do. And of course, the first person she bumps into, boom, is the prince. And he does not recognize her at all. He was asleep before, right? And he's never seen The Little Mermaid, any of the movies. He hasn't seen the Disney one. He hasn't seen the one with Shirley Temple. Oof, production. But he hasn't seen the one with Pam Dauber from Mork and Mindy. He hasn't seen the live one with Louis Cravalho. And of course, he's never seen Alyssa Milano, who was the inspiration for Ariel. No. He's meeting the mermaid for the first time. And guess what? She can't talk. She gave her voice to the sea witch. And the sea witch took that voice and she's singing at Carnegie Hall. Oh! You know, something like that. Anyway. She is so happy to see the prince. She wanted to make sure he was okay, but really she wants to check out how humans work, right? And she's surprised to find that the prince no longer has the necklace she gave him. He has given the necklace to the girl who found him on the beach because they're in love with each other. And she's like, wow, I'm gonna study the way humans love because I've heard they can, you know? And she's so enchanted by this couple and they take care of the mermaid. They invite her in. The mermaid becomes friends with the nice girl that he's in love with. And they show her all kinds of things, how to take selfies and how to eat cotton candy. They probably take her on a carousel or something. And they learn to dance together. The mermaid is a great dancer, we're told, on her brand new feet. And, you know, I don't know why she stayed there. They were throwing her parades down in the ocean. But anyway, the mermaid dances for everyone. They think she's amazing. And then the mermaid remembers the problem with the spell she's under. Oh no, she forgot something. And I forgot to tell you something that the sea witch said. If the prince marries another, you will turn into sea foam. Bubbles. If he marries someone else, she's gonna turn into bubbles and just wash away. That's a really problematic thing, but she wasn't listening before, right? And she's not thinking of it because she's enjoying studying humans, and then boom, the prince proposes to the other girl. And now, now's when we remember that this story is kind of a tragedy. The mermaid's really upset. She's like, oh boy, this is no good. I'm gonna turn into bubbles tomorrow. And it's unfortunate that her fate is tied to the prince because what she wants to do is study all humans. But then she hears voices in the distance calling to her, little mermaid, little mermaid. It's her sisters, her mer sisters. They're trying to help her, but she cannot speak to them because she's lost her voice. So the sisters are like, all right, we gotta go talk to the sea witch, right? And it is the day of the wedding. Oh, she's gonna turn into bubbles. So the prince marries the other girl. They have a beautiful ceremony. There's the mermaid enjoying the ceremony. And the night after the ceremony, they're on a boat and the mer sisters come back. And they say, little mermaid, we've been to see the sea witch. We sold her our hair in exchange for a sharp, pokey thing. What you must do is poke the prince's body with this sharp thing. Oh my goodness. And if you hurt the prince's body, you'll turn back into a mermaid and you can come back and live with us under the sea for 300 years. And she hears that and she says, no, I will not hurt somebody. Not at all. I won't do it. The prince has been kind to me. I won't do it. Even if it means I get to turn back into a mermaid. So she says goodbye to being a mermaid forever, and she falls into the ocean, and she starts to turn into bubbles. She starts to turn into sea foam, and now it's when the story's really sad. You could cry, but then it's Hans Christian Andersen. He's going to give us some hope in this story. The spirits of the air come down and bless the Little Mermaid, and they transform her into a beautiful spirit of the air. And they say, we've been watching you, Little Mermaid, and we know you want to study human nature. It's not fair that your fate was tied to the prince. So now you can be a spirit of the air for 300 years. And while you're a spirit of the air, you can bless the other people in this world with love. You can set their spirits' you can set their hearts free to love. And the first couple she blessed with love, of course, was the prince and the young girl, who didn't know what happened to that strange girl they'd met. They didn't know she'd become a beautiful air spirit. And they say, when you feel love in your heart, maybe the Little Mermaid is blessing you with her love from the air. And that, my friends, is the story of the Little Mermaid. If you enjoyed this story, I have some recommendations for you today. Of course, there are many film versions of The Little Mermaid that we've discussed earlier. There is a wonderful book called Julian is a Mermaid by the fantastic Jessica Love. If you don't have a copy of this book, I highly recommend it. And my last recommendation, if you like mermaid stuff, is, boom, Chicken of the Sea Tuna, because it has a mermaid on the can. All right, my friends, it's time for me to return to the Fable Forest. I'm gonna get Isadora, but before I do, I need your help. On Thursday this week, I wanna tell only original stories that you guys have written. So if you have an original story, send it to me. Right? I've already received one from Lexi. I've received one from Eden. I've even received some things from Jacob and Skylar, but anything you have, any story you have, send it to me. Parents, try to send a horizontal picture if you can, and help me know what words the children said when they told their stories, and we'll present them here on Thursday. Thank you, everybody. I'll go get Isadora. There we go. And we can unmute if we haven't already.
All right, friends.
Thanks,
I'm going to open up all of your microphones so everybody can say hello to each other.
Did you know, Mr. Gregory, did you know that the Maleficent that you showed when you were showing the story of Sleeping Beauty actually was from a movie that's called Descendants? I actually watched.
I love that movie. I've seen it.
Good observation, Linda.
That's awesome, Linda. I love that movie. Good catch, Linda. That was only for a second.
What is that? Mr. Gregory.
Mommy, Mr. Gregory.
Morning, Sonia.
Tuna.
Gregory, there's a mermaid.
She's got Chicken of the Sea Tuna. How did you know?
Ready for
Season.
Joy?
Oh, wow, look what Eden has.
Chicken of the Sea.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you in Miss Joy.
He's not.
Oh, where's the Joy?
Bye, Clarice.
When everyone's
Hello,
talking.
Sasha.
Everyone's talking, right? How are you, Shakira? Do you like that story?
All right, friends, it's time for us to say goodbye because we have to get ready for our ballet class. So we hope to see you in ballet with Miss Joy. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow at 10:30 for Forest Fables. Thank you, Gregory, for another amazing story. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Tanya.
Thank you.